Guys, welcome to Beer Break. Um, we just saw Game of Thrones season 8, episode 1. We have a lot of reactions that we want to share with all you guys. Um, my name is Juan, also better known as Albie. I'm joined by two co-hosts today. A third one will also be interjected throughout the podcast. He unfortunately wasn't able to make it, but he's filming his own reactions right now, and we'll interject it into the podcast as well. I'm joined today by my brother. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Joseph.
Cool, cool. And my friend over here.
My name's Juan.
Cool. Today we saw Game of Thrones season 8, episode 1. Really quick, I am gonna talk a little bit less spoilery, so you guys are free to listen. If you haven't seen the episode up to a point, I will let you guys know. Um, Obviously, when we're gonna get into heavy spoilers, but at the um, very first. So very quickly, guys, what did you guys think about the episode? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you what would you give the episode?
I'd give it a solid 8.
Eight, Joseph?
I get it like a 6.5.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty much on that spectrum, 6.5, maybe 7, maybe, but no, probably with time it's gonna stay at a 6.5. Um, but yeah, if you guys want, just give a couple of sentences of why you think, without spoiling anything, you know. Yeah, I mean it's easy. Just look, for example, like me, I give it a 6.5 in okayish to maybe a 7 good because throughout the episode, obviously I was kind of giddy with excitement because I was seeing something new in Game of Thrones, and so that kind of leads it towards like that 7. And but what kind of brings it down to the 6.5 is just usually the plotting nature of the premiere episode in Game of Thrones just kind of keeps it from being great, and just seeing some things of what they're doing seems like it could lead to some problems, but we haven't seen the whole season. This is just the premiere. But yeah, that's that's why I would give it a 6.5. What about you? Juan? Why would you why do you feel it's a solid 8?
I mean, well, first of all, you need to go in that mindset that, like, 6 episodes. It's not going to be clean. It's not going to be not plot holy. It's going to be fast paced. I mean, you got to go in that mindset where, okay, like, here are the answers, here are other questions. And that's basically what they gave us. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I think the fact that they answered a lot of questions through reunions and still have more to answer, is something that's always interesting because the fact that you have so many characters interacting with each other and how they react, especially when you saw the same character react with several different ones, made something for them to explore. I mean, they had to explore that. I mean, obviously they don't have a lot of time, so as far as plot and setting up, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be very flawed, but I mean, it was so interesting to see the chemistry of different actors finally meet again after so long. And I think obviously we'll dig into that as we go through, but it's something that I think what I think I carried more about this episode is the fact that I've always wanted these people to meet, and here they are, and I think acting wise, like I felt like it was obviously not a lot of writing, but everyone acted well, like everyone kind of did their thing, and everyone
Yeah.
realized like, well, shit, I have to actually act versus writing because now there's really nothing to go off of.
No, yeah, I mean, without getting too much into spoilers, there's some performances that it's pretty surprising to see that some of those actors have that kind of range to pull it off. Um, so, why would you give it a 6.5, Joseph, besides the fact that.
Well, it's more like less of a like technical standpoint, like half technical is more like just like I guess just more opinion, like how I feel. That's it. Um, just like it's obviously the first episode, so it's not gonna be like super exciting, right? But like first of all, the writing was like like pretty like just not as good as like the other seasons. Cause like they'll say some jokes and stuff, and it was kind of like
It fell flat.
yeah, it wasn't funny. And then like it just didn't seem natural that they would say that, and I was just like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then like everything is happening the way you know it's gonna happen, and I guess that's why it's kind of like just okay.
Right.
You know, it's not a bad episode, and it's not amazing. It's just okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So after this, you guys clearly know more or less how we feel. To talk more about it, we're going to go into spoilers. So any of you guys who are listening to this podcast right now, if you've not, if you haven't seen the episode, obviously, I would suggest stopping right now, pause it, save it, and then when you guys want, just come back and listen to what we have to say as we go more in depth into the episode, and we just spoil the heck out of it. But yeah, so spoilers are going to start now. So if you're still listening, take off your headset, or else forever hold your peace. All right, guys. So first thing I have here, I'm just going to kind of run through the episode and then come up with some general, questions and stuff. The credits. What did you think about the opening credits? Like how they changed them and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting to see them go into one of those setups. Like I think everyone's always been curious of how would they implicate that and just what it means too, because always those sequences they usually mean more and like what's to come. So it's really cool how they focus on Winterfell, how they went inside Winterfell. They were there at the Great Hall where, later you see their discussions in the Great Hall, and then also the crypts, and then you see the crypts, and then John's in the crypts, and what's revealed there in the crypts.
Right.
And it's really cool how they tell and they foreshadow everything through those credit sequences. Now, I'm wondering if it's going to be like that throughout the entire season, because I think in general, like, it's just cool to see them get really interesting, because at this point, like, I mean, there's really only two places they're going to focus on. More than anything.
Yeah,
so.
it's interesting because like most other TV shows, well, some TV shows they keep the credit sequence throughout the whole show. Breaking Bad, Lost, Chuck, those are some of the ones. But then there's other TV shows that they change the credit sequences every few seasons. Game of Thrones is one of the ones that never did. I mean, there are slight changes because it's showing you where the characters are. But I was wondering what direction they would go in, because I'm like, you no longer need to go to Essos. Before you had Arya, and you had Daenerys, and you had like 3-4 people you were following in Essos, and now they're all over here in Westeros, right? So I like the new credit sequence. Like, it's super like detailed and unique, and it seems like it's gonna be a visual aid as to where the Night King is traveling. Because in the beginning you see like the walls broken and then the tiles are turning blue, and then it shows that it's going to Last Hearth, which kind of ruined the end of the episode. Because like, okay, so they're gonna go there at some point. But well, what did you think about the opening credits?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought that was one of the better parts of the episode. How it just like changed how it's always been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Just a nice detail.
Right. And so once the credits are done, the episode starts, and it shows that it's one of the first things we ever saw in the teaser trailers, which is Jon and Daenerys arriving in Winterfell. What did you guys think about that whole sequence of Jon and Daenerys arriving in Winterfell?
Yeah, I think like the paying homage to season one's pretty cool, but I'm glad there's still like their niche of how they got there.
Yeah.
And kind of like everyone's reaction on where they stand, because I mean they realize like, well, fuck, the King of the North just brought a Targaryen into this fucking land, and what does that fucking mean? And I think it opens a big mysteriousness to like what actually happens next, because what I really loved about this episode is that the fact that everyone reacts differently. And everyone is just kind of like, what's the answer? What's the right way? Where are we at?
Yeah, do you think like whenever you're seeing like them walking through and stuff, like what's really cool is like they play this exact same song when Robert Baratheon arrived, in Winterfell, which I thought was a nice homage. But again, you see everyone's reactions, and it's cool just like how you're able to see because we've always been so close to Jon Snow, so he feels just like an every person, because the camera, anytime we see him, we're always at his level. I mean, even down to the battles that he takes part in, right? The camera is always behind him. But now he's like, the camera is lower and you're seeing him like from the audience, from the Winterfell perspective, like of the commoner. And it's just kind of cool seeing like, it really does feel like there's a legend, walking by, you know, which I thought was pretty cool from that. Well, what did you think, Joseph? That whole first sequence.
Well, I mean, it did what it did, but I didn't think anything of it, honestly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sometimes, so,
I think what sucks, like honestly, more than anything, is that like we looked into this. You know what I mean? Like we've talked about theories and we've talked about what happens. And here's the thing: we were fucking right. And like as far as like the way we kind of map this out, and that's what's gonna suck. Like when we're right in a way. And sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I mean, we can.
No, I just think like when we look into this, when people have read the books and when you have conversations about it, because obviously all of us in this room have a huge passion for watching Game of Thrones. So like when we realize, oh fuck, we were right. This is not exactly what I wanted to re-see.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting the fact that one, we were right, yeah, but also just to open to what comes through the door too, And I think again, like obviously looking off everyone's ratings, I'm the one who rated the highest and more positive about it, and I'm sure I have more hopefully to share with you why I think it's the highest.
And that's the thing, like from a technical perspective, for me, there's a lot to enjoy, and that's why I like how much they do with the camera angles and everything. I thought that there's a specific reason why they're showing Jon as a king and not as like the guy that we know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was pretty cool because you never see him like that. You always have seen Joffrey or anybody else like that. Whether it was a statue or something else that was going on. But to get back to what Joseph was saying, like honestly, I think the problem with the theories and stuff is it's not that like we're figuring it out, but the fact that everything that like we know is going to happen because that's what the predictable story would do. Is what's happening, and that's what's kind of like giving us, or at least me and probably Joseph, like a feeling of like if this season ends up being really predictable, it's gonna be like it's gonna be satisfying, but it's not gonna be like Game of Thrones,
Yeah, and I think too, like looking at like I guess 2 acts. I mean, there's going to be 3 episodes each side of the acts, right? I really think this is the act that misleads you. This is the one that like it's obvious because I mean, mind you, it's like Avengers. Everyone's coming together. Like the fact that I saw everyone that I've grown to know and love just show up at Winterfell, and then like kind of show Cersei's side too, and like what she's doing. I think, yes, it's an obvious thing. We all predicted this huge gang up and everyone's going to fucking, be at the Battle of Winterfell, whether it's episode 2 or 3, but I don't know. I'm still really curious about where the other half is.
Yeah,
and I think that's where they get us.
Yeah, no, and obviously, just, for you guys listening, it's not like I want, the Night King to invade right at the beginning of the episode, like I don't, or Tyrion just all of a sudden, stabs Jon or something like, that's not exactly what I want, and I can appreciate for the fact that the episode was trying to pay homage to the first one because obviously stories, kind of like George Lucas has said it before, but he took it to literally where he takes stories are like poems or songs and they repeat, you know what I mean? And you can see the cycle of how they repeat, and that's something that happens in stories like Game of Thrones. You see it in Game of Thrones, you see it in Mass Effect and Star Wars, and even Harry Potter. Like there's always that cycle of repeating things that have come before and things that are going on. But what's interesting is, and what's gonna have me interested for the rest of the season is that hopefully, they know what's happened before. They know the mistakes from before, and they change accordingly. And you started talking about Cersei. What did you guys think about just Qyburn going up to Cersei, telling her that the wall has fallen, her giving her smirk, saying it was cool, and then Euron with Captain Strickland. That's his name. They never say it, I think, in the episode.
I
But
think they mentioned it
okay.
when he kind of like is pardoned and he just walks off.
right.
Yeah, they mention
And
it.
I guess just that whole because I think that's all we see of Cersei is Qyburn coming up to her, and then Strickland in the main hallway talking to her.
See, like what I love about the little that we did see though
Mm-hmm.
is the most human part of her though, because I feel like seeing her reaction of her and Euron in that scenario, it's just kind of like I'm just doing this to survive.
And just to not confuse people, Euron and Cersei, you talking about like when they had sex like afterwards, or
Oh yeah.
okay.
So yeah, and well, just in general, like even when they're in the hall,
Mm-hmm.
she tried to fight that. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like she's scared. She is terrified.
Yeah.
She is worried that the fact that everything that she holds dear is going to be gone. And yes, they showed. Man, what sucks is like we're going in like order, so I'm just kind of jumping. But there's just a lot to where I feel like the human side of Cersei is coming out because she realizes there's an end, and it either involves her, continuing the legacy of the Lannisters or nothing.
So one question I would ask is, do you think Cersei have, obviously Cersei has changed, right? But do you think Cersei is being, um, like, uncharacteristically stupid in the way she's responding to, the wall falling, or do you think that it's within her character that she's so far gone that she doesn't even care that actually, means that that's a bad thing, that the wall has fallen, or you know, how would you, how does it come across to you?
I think it brings an awareness, and it brings like, all right, cool. So we already have the Golden Compass here.
Mhm.
They're here, or the Golden Company. Sorry, they're the Golden Compass. Fuck that movie. First of all, but the Golden Company, obviously, it's just something like they're there.
Yeah.
She has something to rely on. When in hindsight you realize like the North is scrambling.
Mhm.
And I think she's not scared of it or it's a dumb decision, but she's just kind of like, well, fuck. Like I'm as prepared as I can be at this point, and I think she's just trying to just kind of cultivate the fact that like, all right, well, Jaime's gone, Tyrion's gone, I'm the last Lannister, and it's like one way or the other, I set myself up to protect, what's mine,
Right.
and that's what she's doing. I don't think it's uncharacteristic that she reacted the way she did. I think it's pretty much what she wants. Because I mean, if everyone else gets eliminated, it's really just her versus the world. And will she win? I doubt it.
Right.
But it's just one of those things where, especially like just the situation they're in, they're just I don't think anyone wins
And you see
in
that
that sense.
with the way you see it, I think that's the way I wanted to see it, but I think that the writing did a disservice to her character in that sense. Because it just seemed that she was, at least to me,
Mm-hmm.
that she was just being stupid in a way that just didn't make sense in the sense because I feel like she always has a smart backup plan, and she doesn't, like, clearly, you know what I mean? But going into the whole aspect of how she's mentally changing, I could see that too, and how that would defend her actions. But I feel, I guess, like in the writing and the performances they choose to focus on, it didn't really, reveal that, at least for me. What did you think about
Yeah, just what'd you think?
Yeah, I agree a little bit with Albie, but I also kind of agree with Juan. Like, I feel like it's in the middle. Like, I agree with you how when they show it and stuff, it's kind of like, just like, oh, really, like, that's the way she's gonna react and all that stuff. But then like, I kind of like, I guess like you just kind of just look into it a little bit. Like I kind of do feel a little bit like maybe it's not too uncharacteristic. Like maybe she just believes that like, oh yeah, she can hold off like the White Walkers when, like she might be just like that, like stupid. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think. Like that, like maybe she doesn't think that they're like a threat. Like, she thinks that like these people are gonna get eliminated, and I can just take care of them afterwards. Like she probably doesn't know like the real like gravity of like
The gravity
the situation, right? Of what like the White Walkers can actually do and stuff. I think that look at it that way. It's like
Yeah, because like if you just look at the numbers, like she's getting 20,000
yeah.
Golden Company men, but I'm assuming like for that to be impressive to her, it must mean that she only has like at least 5 to 10,000 Lannister soldiers left.
Yeah, and I think that she probably doesn't realize that the White Walkers are at least over 100,000.
Yeah, 100,000 strong, and not only that, but Jon and Daenerys together outnumber her completely.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Yeah, it's kind of like a frantic disbelief, I feel, or like almost like in a sense of dementia,
That's
where
interesting. Yeah.
where she's just kind of like, I need to go with this because this is all I have.
Yeah.
And I think it's crazy like how evil she is, but she is a great villain, but she shows the most human side to her in this episode, in my honest opinion, because she realizes like no matter what, in a sense, she's losing, whether it be the war or it be the ones that she loves. Because the fact that Jaime, took off is like, man, there goes that rock. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. When you look at 5 and 6, season 5 and 6, he was there to go do the dirty work. He went to go get their daughter. He went to go, do fucking everything for her.
Yeah, he took part in the war. He was a prisoner of Catelyn Stark, and he was shepherded across Westeros. At every turn, almost, threatened to be killed. And then he went to go save the daughter. Obviously, that didn't work out. And then he went to go, reclaim the Riverlands. And then he fought her war against Daenerys. And obviously, that didn't work out.
It's just a very, like, I feel like it's very aware, like, fuck. This sucks. And I think they show that. Like, yes, I could agree with the writing portion for sure, because, man, it almost feels like there was, like, not a lot of dialogue in this whole fucking, like, episode. And not that I mind it, because, again, like, I really enjoyed how people interacted with each other and how it kind of played out, but it's crazy, like, they're telling a story through their emotion versus words, and that's something that I enjoyed more than anything. Right. For sure.
And so this is interesting. I think it's interesting to talk about this because now I'm looking at like what I've written. It's like reunion.
It's all fucking reunions.
In general, how did you guys feel about that aspect of the episode? In terms of its strength and showcasing those reunions.
Shit, Joseph, you want to go? Because I'm going to go on forever. like if I'm being honest, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the reunions were interesting and some were not. Basically, and overall. So
which ones were?
They're like, no, not that they weren't. They just like, oh okay. Like, I like the. There
was quite a bit. Yeah.
There's Jon's reunion with Bran.
Yeah. That was very quick though. Like it was kind of cool, but then it was like very quick, so it was kind of okay.
And then there's Jon's reunion with Sansa.
I mean,
it hadn't been that long.
No, it hadn't been that long, but there's
kind of like a scene like
there's a catching up, and it leads into introducing Daenerys and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's also Jon's reunion with Arya.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool plus the sword. Which I mean, I knew that was gonna happen, but that was really. I like that part of it.
I have to say that like that's one aspect of the reunions. Especially from like the Stark girls and stuff, it's just like I understand where they're coming from, but I think the writing is just doing a disservice because like there's a way to express that kind of like apprehension of what Jon Snow has done, but the way they do it, it's just very surface level. Like you did wrong, or you might have done wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're being like antagonistic towards them.
Yeah, and it feels like that because honestly, the writing is quite you know, amateurish in that sense. Um, Especially compared to like the other seasons, like whenever you have Tyrion talking to his advisors, like Littlefinger and Varys, the way he talks to them and stuff. Now I'm not saying that you need Arya and Sansa to be talking like Littlefinger, right? But it's that kind of way that they
Sansa.
it's that kind of way that they wrote his character, where as a character you would speak a certain way when you're expressing something that it's because what it causes for me is that it's like the character is switching between two extremes. I don't agree with you. I agree with you. I don't agree with you. I agree with you. When there's that middle ground with a little bit better writing, they could express better.
I don't think she necessarily disagreed with him, but she understands and respects it. She just doesn't want to forget, like, hey, this is where you came from because I'm the one that respected you. Don't forget that. And with that, he's just questioning, like, man, I don't know who the fuck I am. I'm just a bastard that became the king. And now I obviously bent the knee to, this new girl that I'm falling in love with. And it brings this clarity to him to where, like, I'm doing the right thing because I'm protecting who I love. And I'm also finding my love. So I think for me, like, that specific reunion brought up a lot of clarity in the sense of, man, like, we're still the same people. Whether we came from one end or the other, like, we're the same people, and we enjoyed what we've done in the past, and we've enjoyed what we did to get here, and here we are. And the fact that there's, like, a disagreement is what I love about the episode, because here's the thing, like, there's still a curiosity of, like, man, I don't know who that bitch is. Like, and then that's just the straight truth. And I think they create this animosity within each other that makes sense for him because he doesn't know who he is. And he's just trying to find his way. And that's what he's doing throughout the entire show. So I think it's really interesting the fact that is a clear moment in him where, like, Arya loved me, I loved her. And we're going to joke around like, oh, you taking this person's side. And he's just like, well, in all reality, I don't know this person, and this is my family. Remember who your family is, because at the end of the day, we were here for you, just like Ned was. I mean, I know as we get to that sequence, we talk about that, because that's the big conversation where I wanted to see how he's going to react, and it's a really interesting to see him interact and figure out. I think the season for me, like, is realizing who he is, and realizing, can he do it? Because every time he doubts himself, whether it be king, whether it be knight commander, someone pushed him there. And I think at this point he's going to realize, like, fuck, I could do this. And I think that's a very inspiring story in the sense where, like, they all figured it out together, and I think hopefully as the season goes along, for all I know, I'm fucking wrong and everyone dies. But, it's just one of those things where I think in general, like, it's going to be really defining Jon's life, and that's what sucks. Like, when we see it in different angles, because when we realize, like, fuck, this motherfucker was a commoner and now he's fucking king, king of the Seven Kingdoms. And
He was king.
I mean, we say was, but in all reality, I'm still calling it. That motherfucker takes it. I love him. I think he's one of the persons that, like, is genuinely the more human than anyone else in that whole entire show. Just because he's one of those people that is lost because by birth had no definition. And I think, through everything he does, he has banded all the people that are there in that episode. He single-handedly banded them together one way or the other. And, that's amazing to me. Because at the end of the day, like, it's all good. We're all going to guess it. They're all going to fucking work together. And that's what's going to happen. And who lives, who dies, it doesn't matter in his eyes because he just wants everyone to live. And that's the goal. So.
Were you going to say something, Joseph? Because I saw you raise your hand.
Oh, no, yeah. No, I was just gonna say, yeah, like it's not like I don't like that she, like, disagrees with him, or, like, sort of disagrees with him, like, and I don't think that she doesn't, like, agree with him or whatever, like I know it's part of like the middle ground, like kind of right there, but I just don't like it because like then you get to like a scene like where I think it's Sansa, right, telling John that like, oh, did you bend the knee because you fell in love with her or because you wanted to save the North, right, or whatever. And I thought that was like, well, I mean, you don't. It's like you feel like a disconnect because you're just like, what, like, did he even fall in love with her? Like, it's like I never even saw that show.
Well, yeah, no, that's actually what he said. Hold on. I think that's a good point. I mean, I think here's the thing about human emotion. Like, I think everything comes into play. I think that's something that, like, yes, we didn't get an answer out of that. Like, because I know no one heard that answer, obviously, but I don't know. I mean, love is blind, and if it's one of those things where he did, he did. But also I think too, like, John is genuinely a character that looks out for every human being on this earth. And, mind you, that's why he got the wildlings. Mind you, he got, you know, Lord Commander just to fucking out of the respect of what he's done. And I think he had good intentions regardless.
I mean,
Because at the end of the day, like,
I agree. I
yeah.
agree with that. I just like it. No, yeah, I agree with that completely. It's just yeah, the show just never really
Yeah.
made it apparent that I mean, obviously they had sex, but like it felt super forced. Obviously, by the time you read.
You thought so?
Yeah.
I honestly thought
Yeah,
that
I mean-
their chemistry in general, like, especially when they're riding the dragons, I think that's a really intimate, like I think that was a really intimate thing.
But that was afterwards, though.
Yeah, and
Oh, clearly, yeah,
and you
yeah.
see, it's like, and they even mentioned it in the episode where I mean, in the inside the episode where they're like, we never really showed them have moments together in season 7, so this is like our opportunity to do that, which is like it's great, it's still a great scene, but it's just in the wrong context. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not
I mean,
saying
yeah,
that
no, I
dragon
get what
riding.
you're saying,
I'm
yeah.
not saying that dragon riding should have happened, before that. But we should have seen scenes like that because honestly, when you see him fall in love with Ygritte, that's way more convincing than him falling in love with Daenerys because him and Ygritte, they have moments. They have like
Yeah, that's true.
When they
That's
go
very
into the cave or when Ygritte first meets them and she says like, oh, Lord Commander, he wanted to rape me and all this stuff, and then he said turn around. Like still all those moments that like as it leads up, you see why they fell in love. And then with Daenerys, it's like looking and stuff. And then what's so funny is like in season 7, like Daenerys, like Tyrion.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, like if we're looking at what's on fucking HBO now, yeah, you're not wrong.
Tyrion himself says like in season 7 where he's like, oh, I'm sure he just looks at you longingly because he wants a healthy alliance. And I'm like, when did he do that? Because I never saw that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of it too, considering the time, is implied. I mean, because here's the thing: the minute they met, there was a long respect for each other. Yes, there was tension, but they realized they both came from nothing. And you're right; it does not successfully show that. But I think it's just a mutual understanding where, again, I've talked about how like the pacing of shows and how this is going to become a problem because unless you get it, you get it. And if you don't, then you don't. And that's fine because honestly, they did not do a good job as far as like creating those moments with Ygritte. Because that's the thing, like Ygritte scene, like when she dies, that's fucking the most heartbreaking scene in the fucking show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think in that case, it just became one of those things where he really need to, he finds someone that he mutually respects as Ygritte. And I think at that point, it doesn't show that at all.
Yeah.
But that's where his head was. Where, man, like, I need to talk to this person. Oh, she's a woman of power. And, like, it just kind of came all this way where it cultivated, like, we both came up from nothing because we were both really fighting the same battle. Though, did they display that? No. But that scene alone, as far as like fighting dragons together, showed a lot of chemistry within each other that it's not about like we fucked. It's about
Oh,
like
obviously,
we're
no.
both the same person.
No, yeah, obviously. I mean,
Oh no, and again, I'm not saying you're saying that, but just in general, like I felt like that's where they came from, and
Right.
unfortunately, with fucking 13 episodes towards the end, you can only do so much.
if you see anything,
Mhm.
the problem with that is that like they could do more, but I know that the reason that they're not is probably because they don't have enough subplots to supplement those episodes because they only have an outline, so they're kind of screwed. You know what I mean? And they have to like do both, but they can't. You know what I mean? So they have a short amount of time, and honestly, that might possibly be a bigger problem. But going a little bit more forward, because we can talk about
yeah, we probably
the whole
could.
time.
Yeah, the whole time we could.
John and Danny the whole time. But actually, just from I guess mythological story perspective, how cool was it to see John ride a dragon?
Dude, I mean, I think that's something we've been talking about for fucking ever, dude. Like, and we were fucking right
And I
too.
saw
Like,
those shots that were like so similar to the trailer, or the exact same, and you can tell that in the trailer they just scrubbed them out,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't ruin it. But you see, for me, as somebody who loves like cinema, I know that those establishing shots that they have of the dragons flying, like you would only show that if someone was on top of them, because the dragons, unfortunately, they're not characters in the same way.
yeah, no, I
You
agree.
know what
I agree.
So, if you're so the shots that they show the trailer, I'm like, I know that they're flying the dragons, and they did. But I was just gonna say that sequence for me was awesome. It's just, from top to bottom, it's just.
Yeah, I personally need to know how they filmed that because I mean,
know, right?
like the fact that like obviously CGI comes into play and just the fucking overall scenery, like that one shot where they're showing where he hunted or whatever all his life as a kid, like it was fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
It's like what the fuck? Like I know y'all go to these fucking crazy countries and film this shit, but goddamn, like some of it's fucking insane and it's so good, so well thought out in my opinion.
And I thought that was one of the most. That whole everything, all that sequence from beginning to end had the most genuine like comedic bits in that episode.
I think so too. Like
I mean, obviously some of it's generic, like John, like "Whoa," like you've seen that in other movies where like a character doesn't know how to control something, right? Whether it's an animal or a car or whatever. But I do like when he's kissing Daenerys and he opens his eye, the Drogon is just like,
I'll fuck you up.
You do anything, I'm gonna kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was cool because you never really see that kind of character from the dragons beyond the fact that like they only ever show the side of the dragon of like on the like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, pure like bestiality.
Yeah,
in
you
a
only,
sense,
you
like,
only see their protective side, I guess. And here, this is the protective side, but this is also kind of like a, I guess, paternal side of it, because it's like.
I would feel that's rightfully so. Yeah.
Just because the way Drogon is looking at him, it reminds me of like a father looking at like a boyfriend and girlfriend. You know what I mean? And he's just like, you try anything, I got you. You know what I mean? But what did you think about that?
Well, I thought it was really awesome.
Yeah.
I just like it started too fast. I think
Mhm.
for him to write it. Like I didn't like that.
Yeah, they kind of just threw him in
and that
there.
whole part
Mhm.
before, like how they're talking of how how he's gonna write it. I thought it was kind of like the dialogue wasn't that good. I was just like, what? Like, huh?
Yeah.
And then whenever they're there, like in the waterfall, and they're talking, also I'm just like, they can't come up with something better.
Yeah, it's also kind of
I mean-
really generic, like when she's like, "Oh, we could stay here for 1,000 years." No, I mean, like, I
I'm
can't
like,
tell
why
you.
would they stay there when there's supply walkers coming? I'm just
That-
like,
that-
how do you forget about it? Like,
That is a shout out to Egret though. Like just to point that out because she says that in the cave. Like let's just stay in the cave.
I like it though.
But though all I gotta say though is
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. All I gotta say to that is like, yeah, the writing sucks, but man, they got 5 more episodes. I mean, like honestly, I came in this mindset because I hate fast-paced shit. Everyone knows how I complain about Greatest Showman. The point is like I know that's gonna happen, so I went in there accepting it, and I just think they're trying to develop a lot of human emotions so quickly. It's not 100%. It's like a good 75, 70 to me. Again, because you can only do so much with a set amount of time. But I think the fact that they're answering questions in not necessarily 100% effectively way, but they're answering questions. Like if this series answers all my questions, then okay, they're successful in my eyes, and I think they're doing that. As far as how it's going right now, they're doing that for me.
So one thing I've noticed is that like you don't seem to care too much about like homages and stuff. Why is it that something like say the cave being a homage to Ygritte doesn't? Is it because it's not executed well, or
Yeah, I mean, it's because it just happens like so fast, and it's just like okay.
yeah? And you see that's
And
one
it
thing.
just happens with like something that's not like, thought out, which is their relationship.
Yeah, right. And that's one thing that I do see. Like, there's no reason for this episode to have been 54 minutes. Like, it could have been longer.
I cannot say I disagree with you at all. This motherfucking episode could have been 2 hours for all I care. You know what I mean? But it's just.
Like, why have
It's just unfortunately fucking HBO has limits, I guess. I really don't know why they only made 6
I feel
episodes.
like some of those scenes, like for example, like the lead up to him running dragon, like if you let that scene breathe a little bit more, have a little bit more, dialogue, interchange, it would flow more naturally. You know what I mean? But
that's fair.
It may be because Benioff and Weiss just don't know what to write in that sense, like, and they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because they themselves, I'm sure, have standards of like, well, I don't want this part we wrote is kind of shittier than this, or or maybe they think this is great and they think this is okay, you know what I mean? And so they cut that away and they just keep with what they thought they could come up with, you know what I mean?
They again, like, I don't know if there was limitations. I don't know exactly, obviously, the whole story of that, but I think there's just an end game, and there's so much content, in my opinion. Because they delayed it a year. I'm sure they filmed a whole lot more, and that we're just not seeing. And obviously with the limitations they were given, it's just kind of like you could only do so much, and that's why I appreciate what they're trying to do. But when you only have literally, you got to think we only got 7 hours of this shit left.
7 hours and 12 minutes.
Yeah. So the fact that they're making these mini movies, and honestly, if I had to sit down and be like, well, fuck, I need to see how this bitch ends, and they did it in 7 hours, and fuck it, like that's what I'm up for, because again, it's an interesting story to me, and they're also not going off any content, mind you, hence why 7 and 8 are now the slowest, kind of like writing wise. Right. And we're all aware that, like, now that they're off content, it's just kind of like, well, fuck, how do we end this? And I'm not being picky about it, and I think that's something I could truly say, like, because honestly, this episode was dope. I like more than anything. So.
And so I know we had said that we were gonna talk more about Jon and Daenerys, but that whole dragon sequence was something that I think was really important to talk about. But moving on from that, what did you think of Arya's multiple reunions? Because she has probably
the most.
Yeah. Because obviously we talked a little bit about her reunion with Jon. She has her reunion with the Hound, and she has her reunion with Gendry. What did you guys think about that thematically?
I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna let Joseph go.
The Hound was like, it makes sense when you're seeing it. I thought it was a little bit like, oh, okay, but no, it was good, like how it was short or anything and drawn out so long. I thought it was okay.
I thought it was perfect, just because like I feel like the Hound would not like.
That's why
treating her like, oh my precious.
Yeah. That's why I was like, nah.
You can still be a hard ass.
Yeah.
You left me there to die.
I think
she was like, I robbed you first.
Honestly, yes. When she fucking said that, I was like, that's totally Arya Hound relationship. Like, because they fucking hated each other.
And then he's just like, you're just a cold little bitch.
That's why you alive.
And then when he says that, like he cares about her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, clearly. Yeah.
And right there, that's probably the closest thing to a compliment he's given to any character.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Fuck the king.
Or even when like with Barry, I hope we meet again for the game. He's like, I sure fucking hope not.
I agree.
Yeah. So obviously that reunion was great. And what about Arya's and Gendry's reunion? What
I liked it too. I liked it too.
nice callback to season 2, like the whole my lady.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot, but yeah, I really like that part. I like that part.
I have to say, in just those 2 moments, and they've had way less screen time. I actually I actually believe their chemistry more than John and Daenerys.
That's pretty
Yeah.
fair. I think that's fair to say.
liked
Yeah, I think
those
that's fair to say.
reunions. They were cool. Like even though like it was like short, but like it was good.
I think it speaks to their story and how it ended so shortly, like up until where they meet up now, and it's just
Yeah.
kind of like, again, like she's there, and they both kind of pay homage to each other, and then that's it, and obviously there's probably more to come, but
Yeah, you can
It-
see it's
I,
really,
I think Gendry and her specifically had a really interesting relationship because, given the situation in 2, and I think it's really again like seeing all these fucking characters come back. And I thought it was the most awesome thing, like to see them interact again. Like, oh fuck, like I haven't seen you in fucking 6 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's fucking neat. I think it's neat as hell.
do you guys think it's gonna head into a more romantic relationship with Gendry and Arya? Because I could just see
I
like
think so.
I think so.
Because I could
Yeah.
just see with like her saying you look good, and then he's like, uh, yeah, you look good. Like, but the way he says it is like the way he delivers it is kind of like just
If they
how
fucking
you would
live,
tell
mind you.
yeah, or a woman,
Mhm.
that you think looks beautiful, then she looks good. So Sansa and the Northern Assembly. What did you guys think about that scene?
Honestly, I hate Sansa.
Yeah.
If anyone knows,
I freaking hate it.
yeah, dude, I fucking hate her. But the way she reacts as such a smart individual and political individual,
Uh-huh.
it's just so goddamn good. I mean, the fact that she comes out super cold and you could tell there's tension, and she comes out as this person's like, man, you just taking something from me that you didn't earn, and it's so fucking good. I don't know. I love like. I do not like her, like to this day. But
Yeah.
honestly, today's episode, I was just kind of like, man, you sitting on the fucking throne. Like, if anyone's gonna run this bitch, it'd be her. But I think in general, like she's strong at what she believes in, and I think it shows everything that she learned, either whether it was from Littlefinger or from Cersei. Like it's starting to show, like, can't believe you believe Cersei. The fact that she says that is just such a brilliant thing because I think it's so smart. The fact that she tells Tyrion, like, I used to think you're the wisest man ever. And it's just so neat that she has, in a sense, surpassed all of them.
Mm.
And she's like, this is where my intellect is, and this is the wise way to think. And she's not wrong, in my opinion. I think she's 100% right in thinking Cersei was wrong, and
Yeah, I mean,
bringing her was wrong.
Or sorry, brother, what were you gonna say?
I mean, I didn't like that, honestly, because I'm just like, I'm pretty sure the way they wrote Tyrion in that scene was just like for him to be dumb and like set up that line.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I didn't like
Mhm.
it. I was like, I'm pretty sure, like,
Tyrion would have said
Yeah,
something
yeah.
smart.
and
And half the time I'm expecting that to happen,
yeah,
and it just doesn't happen. And I'm like, and in my mind I'm
But-
thinking like, hey, I would have said this.
and one thing I totally agree. It's like what John said. Is like, oh yeah, Sansa thinks she knows everything. I'm like, exactly. Yeah. Like, it doesn't know everything.
But you have to think about, like, specifically speaking to Tyrion's thing, his whole world got wiped when he met Daenerys. And obviously, like, he sees Daenerys as this goddess that's going to save us all and whatnot. But, like, you can even see throughout those seasons, he starts thinking less of a smartass. And he's just kind of like, yes, he's guiding her, but it's not nearly to the level of the past 4 seasons.
I mean,
You know?
I guess.
I just feel like he
I feel
unfortunately got dumber.
I feel like they're making him dumber in the same way they made Littlefinger dumber. You know. Yeah,
Like,
because
just to move the story
Along,
for
yeah.
what they needed to move it for.
yeah, because like when Littlefinger got caught, like at the end of, I don't want to spend too much on it, but when he got caught at the end of episode 7 in season 7, like just the way he reacted, I'm like, I feel like Littlefinger wouldn't have reacted that way. He would have been like, yeah, I mean, obviously he says, none of you were there, but like, I think he would have been more calm, collected. He would have been like, how would you know? You weren't there, you know. And then Bran says, you did tell him, not to trust me. Yeah, I had to tell him that because he shouldn't have trusted me or whatever. And he could have twisted that into something that I feel like he would have been in far more control, and he wouldn't just like pussy out like that. And I do feel like going back to Tyrion, that he I could see it from the perspective of his character where he's allowing Sansa to have the last word instead of him having the last word. But and to play devil's but that to me, like, I feel like I hope that doesn't happen for the rest of the season. I really do hope that somebody shuts Sansa up, and I think the only thing that's going to shut her up is seeing what the Night King can do.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. See, I think with that too, like you got to think of awareness of the situation. Like you look at Cersei, you look at Sansa, and you look at everyone that has not encountered the Night King. And I think at this point, like it's a really cool thing to see them dissect the arrogance,
Right.
and the confidence, mind you.
Yeah.
Like again, like Sansa was just kind of like, "You're fucking dumb,"
Yeah.
fuck you, and
No,
and it's fair for her to think that way because
Yeah.
she learned under the queenest bitch of them all, Cersei,
Yeah,
and
no,
she
yeah.
learned,
I mean, to
and
play devil's advocate, her character is acting the way it should be in the sense
Yeah.
that she was raised by psychopaths. She was raised by Cersei. She was raised by Littlefinger.
mhm.
So what would you expect, from somebody who was raised by those crazy people? And
Yeah.
sure, those people. Well, Cersei wasn't smart, but Littlefinger, how smart he was and how conniving he was. Like,
Mhm.
she learned from him that there's a whole side of people that you don't know, right down to the very end. I mean, because obviously she found out even more and then had him executed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and so yeah, I think it does stay true to her character to immediately be suspicious of Daenerys, to be suspicious of Jon's intentions, because she doesn't want anything to happen that's gonna. Okay. Yeah. She doesn't want anything to happen that's gonna affect, her. Just so you guys know, that was Quan, hand signaling to me. And he's gonna go to the restroom. He didn't have to do that, but I just want to embarrass him. Nah, it's fine. But yeah, like, what was I saying? I'm gonna try to thought. It makes sense, that she would be apprehensive, because the last thing she wants is to be in any position that's going to get her anywhere near that same kind of experiences that she had when she was young. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but it does pain one to see her continue to not trust John's judgment, because I mean, obviously she hasn't been with him this whole time, so she hasn't been on that side where like people know that John's judgment is the correct judgment, you know. And I think with time she's gonna see that. She's gonna see, because I think once the Battle of Winterfell takes place, and obviously they survive, I'm pretty sure that that's gonna happen, right? Obviously, a lot of people are gonna die, but I think that's gonna show her like I should have done more. You know what I mean? I think right there she's gonna see the series of judgments, choices that Jon Snow made, that's eventually gonna, lead her into to realizing all at once, like, this is why people follow him. You know, this is why people follow Jon Snow, because he was right. He's not dumb. Like, sure, there's some things that he sticks true to because that's his belief, that's his honor, that's what's guiding him. You know what I mean? But I do think hopefully eventually that's gonna happen. Because if she stays like that throughout the entire season, I just don't see how she's not gonna die. Her stupidity will do her in, or not that it's her stupidity, but her arrogance. Right?
Yeah.
You know. But going to uh, going into the last two reunions. I mean, this is a reunion episode Just so you guys know, this is why we keep talking about reunions because every scene is a reunion.
I know. That's probably the major problem with the episode that it doesn't do more. It's just that
Reunion,
it's
reunion,
short,
reunion.
and I feel like it should be long.
And I was completely, I would have to say, just on a side note, I was completely disappointed that, okay, we'll come back to this right now, what we're talking about, but I was completely disappointed in the end that they did not show the Night King attack last harp. I was completely disappointed that we just go in on the last harp being destroyed.
I'm sorry. Like I think you're wrong on
No,
that. Because here's the thing. Like I think the battle when it comes to when it gets there, it's a true reveal of his power. Don't get me wrong. Like, well, you got to think who he fought to. The Umbers, they weren't shit.
That's why.
But that's why
should have been like another hard home, except a hard
But why
home
the fuck do I need to see him demolish a shit ass house? You know what I mean? Like I think if I see him go into Winterfell and fuck that bitch up,
I think
like all I'm saying, I think honestly, like not saying like I would have not mind to see him fuck some shit up.
I think it would have been interesting to see the Night King completely demolish something, which is something we haven't seen. Because
what do you mean the wall? What do you mean the wall?
Yeah,
he demolishes the wall.
Yeah, no, but
that just is a symbol of his power.
No, that's true. That's true. But what I'm saying, what I mean that, so yeah, that's obviously quite literally him demolishing something. But what I mean is that because even with Hardhome, he suffers a little bit of a loss because Jon Snow ends up saving 5,000 wildlings, right? And even when they go beyond the wall, he doesn't kill all the dragons. He only kills one, right? I would have liked to have seen. I think.
So you would like him to see destroy a house that isn't shit.
I think it was an opportunity to show more of why the Night King was intimidating. I think it was an opportunity to show why he's a scary villain.
He destroyed the wall.
This is one instance.
He is marching towards Winterfell.
No, I understand.
Like all I'm saying is that you're asking very little of him.
No, but I feel like this is one instance where you can show the Night King's power when there's no resistance to it. You know what I mean? And every single time we've seen his power.
So do I really need to witness that though? Because it seems like he's like that every time when he destroys the wall. When he takes Hardhome, dude, when he raises his hands and all those wildlings come alive, that is the perfect way to do that. I don't see them simulating that in the same way and having the same effect. I feel like you'd be disappointed because he just fucking slapped that little kid and that's it.
But
and that's what would have happened.
It's interesting to see what happens when he has no resistance. Because in Hardhome, clearly he shows up. Clearly he allows him to escape, but he does meet amongst some resistance in Jon Snow, and he does meet amongst some resistance beyond the wall with the dragons, and he meets resistance obviously with the wall itself. He doesn't just wave his hand and it falls down, right? It's a constant barrage in the fire.
Technically, does. He gets the dragon and breaks the wall down.
What I'm saying is that it would have been interesting to see him overtake something that has no resistance to him, because I want to see just whether or not what he does is cockiness or not, because here he doesn't need to show off to anybody. So what can we glean from him eventually going to Umber and leaving him as an example, as a message, because when he leaves him there, he obliterates everyone and they're gone. So I'm assuming he turned them into whites and he took them away. But he left Umber there, and I would have liked to have seen, at the very least, to have seen the Night King go through that process of leaving Ned Umber. It's Umber, right?
I forgot his name.
Yeah, I think it's the Umbers.
No, it is the Umbers. I just don't remember the kid's first name.
I think it's Ned Umber. I think.
I'm not too sure.
I would have liked to have seen that because it's dark, obviously, because it's happening to a kid. But it's like, for example, in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, you see a lot of things that Lord Voldemort does when he has no resistance. And it's kind of like a gleam into how it's kind of like a window to how the world would be like if Lord Voldemort were to succeed, So it's time to increase. It gives time for the villain to increase his intimidation, and it's time to show you, kind of like the bad side of things, how they could turn out. And I just feel like that's something
But-
that would have been really interesting instead of just seeing the aftermath.
But here's the thing: you don't know the Night King's intention. You
No,
know
I
what
know, I know.
Voldemort's intention was.
I know that,
And, like, when you sit there
that's
and-
ultimately what disappoints me a little bit because I feel like is that maybe in the books he does have some intentions, but in the show they're probably keeping it pretty basic.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, I just think in general, like, I didn't need to see him destroy a shitty house. Like, in my opinion, like I like how they showed that like he's ruthless and he kills him. Cool. And what I liked about it is the fact that he's so close. Like, he is closer.
I don't understand what they're talking about when the Night King has already passed Last Heart. But then they're saying that they're going to go to Castle Black, and with the horses they'll be able to surpass the Night King and reach Winterfell before him. How does that even work?
I mean, clearly.
It sounds like the Night King has already passed them, and unless it's because the Night King is just like, walking slowly, and then he sees Tormund, and then walking, and he's just like, I'll just let him walk by.
I'll tell him later.
I mean, again, like if you're looking for every fucking solution as far as like or every answer to that.
No, that's the only
then
thing
that.
that.
No, I mean
saw that was, like,
you're right though. Like, as
impossible.
far as like geography is concerned, like you're right. But I mean, again, I'm not gonna question that because I mean, at the end of the day, they got 5 episodes to wrap this motherfucker up. And
It's more like only 5, and that's the problem. That's the thing I don't really like is that like they kind of feel like it's rushing it instead of like, oh, they have these episodes to show a lot. It's like they have only 5 to show
Everything else.
Yeah. To show like what they need to show, and that's the problem. I don't know why it's like that. It's just weird. Like, cause from what Abby was saying is that when he had told me it seemed like they wanted to do 6 episodes because they didn't want to make it too long. But it seems like here it's like they're just cutting it short. You know what I mean? And that's what I don't like it. Like I'm afraid of.
Yeah, because I mean, when you listen to the interviews from before, it sounds like they didn't want it to run too long, and I was like, that's great. I mean, I feel like in the recent seasons, the pace had slowed. Obviously, season 7 increased,
everything with
but
and shit.
not in the best way possible. And I thought, okay, now in season 8, the pacing, might be, a little better, but it does still seem like, it's funny because I read a review where they said like, oh, the show hits the ground running, it doesn't waste time, but to me, it's like,
That's all it does in this episode.
yeah, and it's less about wasting time and more about not having enough time.
I mean, as far as pacing's concerned, man, I'm just saying it. I just want to see the battle. Like, like I don't give. Like, I'm just saying, there's no more room for politics here. Like, it's just live or die.
Oh, I know.
And well, see, like, I know we want to elaborate on these scenarios and shit, but I mean, if I'm being honest, I want to see the Battle of Winterfell. I mean, I want to see people die, and I want to see everyone I care about. Like, unfortunately, is gonna die, and I think that's the pacing they need to choose to get there. Because, mind you, I'm not gonna wait till like the last episode to someone to die if it was like reformatted, right? And I would really
I wouldn't
love to
want-
see how the end game ends up because
I
you
wouldn't want that specifically, but I do think that it's just clear now that without the books, it's hard for them to make it more consistent like it was in the earlier seasons. Moving on to the last 2, because we're running a little bit on time. Going to the last 2 things I have here, which is so it's the interaction that Sam and Daenerys have, and then Sam and Jon, which I saved that for last. I think it's the really awesome part of the episode. But what did you guys think about Daenerys and Sam scene, the exchange and everything?
man, Sam did amazing. In my opinion, the fact that he changed his reactions, from the dad into his brother, was really really cool. I think Daenerys just not having remorse and just I'm just gonna fucking tell you I killed him was a little off-putting. Like,
Yeah,
it's just kind of like I feel like she could have executed that better. I felt like a part of me would have actually liked it if she hid it. You know, if she just kept that from herself and just like I'm not gonna tell you I killed your family. You know,
Well,
but
maybe just like, a little bit more like less like how do I say like less like
less Mad Queen and more
yeah
more
like just
loving.
a little less, just a little less, like because I think it was a little bit too, like you said, off-putting, like you just like, oh yeah, like you stood there with him and yeah, we're dead, like
Yeah, and honestly, like that's one thing about her character that feels kind of inconsistent is that, and maybe it's not inconsistent because I'm thinking about something else that might explain it, but just from what you've seen, she's been far more kinder before to people, far more loving and caring, and for some reason, she's treating all these people like shit. But I'm thinking that the reason she is like that is maybe because she just has this, just like they do also of Targaryens, she has this preconceived notion of lords in Westeros just being pompous pricks.
yeah,
And maybe that's why she's coming off a little bit more cold. But I don't know.
and that's always been my problem with Daenerys, like the fact that she's not really a leader. I think she'll partake in emotion more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, she'll just be like, I'm angry, fuck you guys, I'm gonna light you up, and then to like, oh, here's the person I really care about. Let me talk to you normally, and I think that's her problem. Like, she's just never a natural born leader, and man, the fact that she delivered that kind of news in the way she did, I was just kind of like, man, like Sam was fucking amazing, and she was just like, yeah, I burned them alive.
yeah,
You know,
You
like
can even
just,
see it. Like I feel like
and she didn't even look like she had remorse for it, mind you.
Yeah,
And I think that's an interesting part where it segues to John and Sam's conversation where he's like, he didn't tell you, and then he's trying to defend her, and then he's just like, well, you didn't do any of that shit, people fucking fucked you over, and
and then when John tries to defend her, and I know it's because he loves her, right?
mhm.
And when he tries to defend her, but it's like, hey, John, just in case you forgot, the people you killed were fucking crazy motherfuckers, fucking like lowest of the earth, like just waste of breaths, like they were not Tarleys, you know what I mean? They were not, like I mean, he even showed a kindness to Matt's Raider, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
When he didn't have to, and he did it, by killing him instead of allowing him to be burned alive, while he was still conscious. And
There's a lot of times, like specifically with Samuel's dad and brother, that like it's just like, man, you're an asshole. Like I'm sorry, you're not any better than any people. And then you look at Jon Snow, and Jon Snow has never been that person, and
never.
it's two different divisions,
Yeah, and it's funny how he says that she's not her father, and in general, all these people saying that they're not their parents and stuff. But it's like, I think what you're gonna come to realize in this season
is that they're very similar.
they're very similar, and they are their parents, and that kind of might give us a glance into what some of these characters might do later on in the season. Like obviously, John, Ned, John is going to continue being honorable and everything. I feel Sam's going to continue being his lovable self. Just like his mom. But Tyrion, Cersei, they might show a side of themselves that. Well, I think Cersei is showing in full effect, obviously, but I think Tyrion, he might start acting a little bit more like his father, in a sense where he's putting this false hopes in things that aren't going to come to pass, like his father tried to do because he thought that was the best thing, and it's just clearly not going to happen. And I think that's going to dull him, and I guess in that sense it might explain narratively why he's acting dumb.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
But yeah, and so going into, since we're already talking about it, but going into Sam's and John's reunion, because it is their reunion, right? I mean, they haven't seen each other since season 5.
Yeah, because remember he's like, "Oh, were you hiding from me?" Like, You know.
Yeah.
Remember, like, or you read all the books in the Citadel.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been around season 5, I believe, because I think, yeah, it's been quite a bit. Because I know he just went off to be a maester, and then that he didn't even know, he wasn't even aware that he died. In my understanding. So yeah.
Yeah, John. Yeah, Sam never knew that John died. That's true. That's true. Yeah, because he left right before that happened. Obviously, because his character would have done something.
Yeah. I mean, that motherfucker would not do anything.
Yeah. So what did you think about that? I kind of felt like the way Bran talked to Sam kind of emboldened his feelings towards Daenerys. Um, kind of like the task that Bran set out for Sam to do. And I think Bran, it's clear that he's looking at everybody, and people are realizing that.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of scared of it, and I think he knew, he overheard the conversation somehow with his visions or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, like, he set Sam to task by just giving him that little nudge that he knew that Sam would be the better one because it is different to hear a plea, from a trusted friend than from a brother you haven't seen for ages and one who is no longer acting like a brother.
No shit.
But what did you think about Sam going up to Jon and finally revealing to Jon that he's Aegon Targaryen, 6 of his name, and rightful king to the Iron Throne? What did you guys think about that?
I thought it was pretty awesome. I like that scene. My favorite scene.
Is your favorite scene in the episode? What?
Just because all the emotion from both of them, because Sam is all sad and everything, but then Jon is just like, what the hell? Just freaked out completely, and I just really like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, seeing his world shattered like that.
And I like. Oh, sorry. I like how he said you call like my father, right? He's like to me my whole life or whatever. He's like no, your real father, he did that to protect you, because then Rob would have killed you,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I just like the whole part. It's really awesome.
Yeah. Seeing his world shatter like that never happens to Jon Snow. He's always been a bastard, and it's funny, that really, what I love about the character, right? Like you said before earlier, that he's never wanted to be king or anything like that, and now, hey, you know what? Not only do you not want to be king, but you are the only king.
The sole heir, motherfucker. Yeah, man. I mean, that part of the episode was really interesting, because see him react in disbelief and just also know at the same time where he's just like, well, fuck. I was denied a lot, but really it was just I earned it, but it was actually rightfully mine regardless. So I don't know, man. I really enjoyed that scene. I think Sam is probably the best actor of this episode, in my opinion. I mean, the fact that he's shown so much of himself in very vulnerable situations, and just be able to just deliver. I mean, he killed it, man. And I think in general, it's super great. I mean, personally, I care about the next reunion more than anything.
What next? Oh,
like now that we're kind of done with the topics, but Jaime. Meaning everyone is gonna be amazing. I don't care what anyone fucking says, because everyone hated Jaime outside of Brienne.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the way that shot ends, and he looks at fucking Bran or Bronn, whatever, and he's just like, fuck. I think it's fantastic, and
a hint of sadness, almost like a a father seeing his son in a way, which is weird, because they're not related at all. But
I mean, I'm sure he had remorse, because I think what's interesting about Jaime's arc is
I think he thought that he was dead, right? I think for now he's known that he's been dead.
Yeah, because he was in a coma.
You know what? I think that's true. I forgot what season they mentioned it. It might have been season 1.
Yeah, because
they thought he may have been dead.
Last he heard, he was in coma.
Yeah.
But you know what? They tried to kill him. Remember? that's why they end up with the dagger with the Valerian steel.
Right. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know. I think he knows about Theon sacking Winterfell earlier, and that he killed the Stark boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, like he thought that he was dead.
Yeah, he thought that he was dead.
He thought Bran was dead.
And then I guess he realized it like damn, like he had to live like that.
Yeah. And then just that obvious. That is so crazy.
Right,
Because,
right.
because he's always hated the fact that when he lost his hand, that it made him like a cripple in a sense. But he created a cripple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like he's staring down,
It's
somebody
like-
who actually had to go through that.
It's fucking karma.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
more than anything, it's fucking karma, dude. And
And it's such a great like homage to the last scene of episode 1 in season 1.
yeah,
It's the interaction between Bran and Jamie, and now it's this interaction between Bran and Jamie.
and the fact the person that he's become,
Uh-huh.
like he's always been that person that wants to do the right thing, and that's why he's done it. So next episode, you're just like, what the fuck? Daenerys is gonna meet the killer of her fucking father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, what the fuck is gonna happen? Like,
yeah,
honestly,
she says in the teaser, she's like, you know what we used to say, which I'm pretty sure she's just intimidating him, because she says like, we used to speak about how we would, what we would do to the man who killed our father and stuff. But I'm like, weren't you like a baby when that happened?
But you know what's crazy though? Like he meets Tyrion, he's gonna see Jon Snow again. All these fucking people he fucking met, dude.
Yeah.
And like no one's really seen him outside of Cersei, Brienne, everyone else that really interacted and died. And it's just crazy. Like I think his reunions matter more to me,
Yeah.
because it's just kind of like, how the fuck are you gonna react? Because you were a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you
and
gonna do?
And it's just gonna be so interesting to see how he ends up being a part of
I
them.
really think
Mhm.
that Bran is gonna be like, hello Jamie, how you've been or whatever. Like, when he's not gonna have like any grudge. Or
Oh,
anything,
yeah, I
because
mean,
he's
yeah,
not Bran anymore.
He's all wise,
He's a three-eyed raven.
and I think if anything, he'll be relieved because it's like, man, it's played out exactly how we wanted it. Because he'll be there.
Remember he said
you know?
that, oh, like, they told him, like, oh, what are you doing here still? And he's like, oh, I'm waiting for an old friend. Or something like that.
Oh,
shit. I didn't think about that.
That just blew my fucking mind.
That's what he was waiting there.
We might have just blown up.
Oh my god, that is so good, dude.
I didn't think
Oh,
about that. That's how he sees James, an old friend.
Yeah.
dude, that is so good.
And it
Like,
would be an old friend because, as far as people he's interacted with, he hasn't interacted with him for a long time. So
Yeah.
obviously,
that's so fucking good. Like, oh man, all I know,
And
next
he probably-
episode
and
is
he
gonna be so
probably
good.
thinks of him as a friend because he knows what Jamie has done. He
Mhm.
knows that Jamie saved 500,000 people when he killed the Meg. He knows that Jamie is the reason why Sansa and Arya, ever had a chance, because Brienne's interactions with them completely, helped
Yeah,
them for the better.
that's very true. That's very true
Yeah.
because he's the one who, Oathkeeper, and he's the
Yeah.
one that set that fucking milestone. Like, hey, go do this for me, and then, fuck, dude, holy shit. Next episode, dude, it's gonna be fucking thrilled.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I think obviously now we can start saying our final thoughts and stuff. But I mean, in the end, for everyone who's listening, like I didn't hate the episode. I think in general, I'm of the mindset that Game of Thrones premieres are kind of hard to do and kind of hard to make really satisfying because you just want to get with the main part of the course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stop this dessert, and you know what I mean. But I will have to say that, like, as far as dessert goes, like, this was an entertaining dessert. You know what I mean? Before the
Appetizer.
appetizer before the main course, and I do think that I'm super excited for episode 2. I think episode 2 is gonna be freaking great. I think it's gonna. I hope it is kind of similar to like episode 3, season 7. Where Jamie has that whole conversation with Olenna, and there's just very powerful scenes and the way that dialogue is written. One of the stronger written dialogues that probably wasn't part of the book, and many often why it's completely made up, but it's really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited for that because Jamie's definitely gonna have a lot of scenes with people. I feel, and there might be really some powerful scenes with them. And yeah, I'm generally still excited for season 8. I really hope it's gonna go great, and I do think with time as we throughout, we're going to see this premiere episode as part of a greater, grander story, hopefully.
Yeah, like it's gonna make more sense and just like feel more connected and everything.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, what are your closing thoughts and what do you think about the future as far as episode 2?
Well, yeah, I think episode 2, like the way episode 1 ends, I think it just sets up everything. Like Jamie is gonna be a huge part of episode 2, a huge focus. You know what I mean? And I think that's gonna be really awesome. Like just even if no action or anything happens, like I don't care about that. Like his reunion, like concept with everybody's gonna be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. And one?
Man, like I remember telling myself like I think I'm gonna be disappointed with season 8, but I think at this point they can't go wrong. I mean, I think they're just creating the ending of the story, and the fact that they're rehashing basically everything that started it, is something that I find amazing. So obviously, I'm not going to be happy with any future deaths, or I'm not going to be happy because I love a portion of these characters. But there's also still a lot of people we haven't seen interact with each other. So I'm looking forward to that. But I don't know. I don't think I'll be disappointed, at this rate. I think I love this show too much where it's taught me a lot as a person, but also just showed me, like, I don't think it'll let me down on wherever it's going. Because I think at this point, like, the fact that Jamie's is pretty much the pivotal moment of 2 is going to be super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I'm sure he's going to make them aware, like, hey, Cersei's not coming. And
which is
like
blow up in Tyrion's face.
Yeah, so it's something that like I think creates just an interesting dynamic. Like him himself, like is just such a big character.
And that might be one way that he might prove his loyalty or his honesty. Why would he lie about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially show up alone.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird. I don't know what's gonna happen, and then. I mean, we didn't even talk about Braun either, and that's a whole other fucking discussion that I'm just kind of like, fuck.
Really quickly, because I know that it has a little bit to do with Jamie.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think Braun is going to go through with it? Do you think he's going to try and kill Tyrion and Jamie?
As far as a character, I think he is very well up to it. But the fact that he created such a companionship with Tyrion. There's that scene where they all meet up in season 7, and he's like, "It's good to see you," and they're both like slightly insulting each other. And, I think it shows the very human side of Braun. I think once he sees the big picture of like, "Nah, I need to help you, fuckers," like he's gonna help, and unfortunately not make it. I think he's one of those people that's just gonna come back and everyone's gonna question like, "Oh, will he kill him?" But I don't think he will. I think he's created a bond with them that even Cersei with money, in this case can't control.
Right.
And, that is something I can't wait to find out, because if I'm fucking wrong, holy shit.
That's something it's definitely in the potential of his character too.
Yeah, it really is, yeah.
Because of the way he just because he's looking out for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not looking out for anybody else.
And it really shows, like, throughout the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
So...
But yeah, I mean, I guess that pretty much does it for our reactions to Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 1, guys. Clearly, we had a lot to talk about. We didn't agree on everything, but I think in the end, we're all still very excited to see the rest of Season 8. I'm definitely going into the whole season with open mind and everything. I think all of us are. And yeah, stay tuned for future reactions. We're definitely going to be doing more. You better bet that it's going to be interesting to see once the finale comes around, where all of us lie on the side of whether we liked it, loved it, or hated it, or whatnot. But yeah, and I guess that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Whenever, if you guys liked it, you can comment down below. You can like it or subscribe, whatever you want, and give us suggestions, whether you agree, have a conversation, whatever it is you want. Just let us know. And then that's going to be it for this beer break reaction episode to Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 1. This is Albie and Joseph. Joseph and
And
Juan signing out. See you guys later.
so y'all.